Today we are going to discuss about the indirect utility function. So here an utility function is given to us. Utility is a function of x and y equals to x to the power a into y to the power b, and another relationship is given between the powers a and b, that is telling us that a plus b equals to 1. A budget constant is given to us. Budget constant is telling us I, which is denoting the income or money income, equals to px into x plus py into y. Here px is the price of commodity x and py is the price of commodity y. X and y are the quantities of the commodities. X denoting the quantity of commodity x and y denoting the quantity of commodity y. So basically what will we do for arranging our indirect utility function? At first we will form an Lagrangian equation. So for Lagrangian we will at first take the utility function, and along with it we are going to take the budget constant. So budget constant will be taken in the form of 0. So for taking it in the form of 0, we are basically subtracting the px into x plus py into y. We are taking this entire expression. This entire expression is taken on the left hand side, so it becomes I minus px into x minus py into y, and that is being multiplied with the lambda. So basically this entire expression is nothing but 0, right? Because I minus px x minus py into y, this is nothing but 0, and lambda multiplied with 0 is nothing but 0. So x to the power a and into y to the power b is the thing that is only remaining. Now as our Lagrangian is formed, we are going to do the partial derivative of this Lagrangian equation with respect to the commodities, or with respect to the quantities of commodities x and y. So basically at first we are going to do the partial derivative of this Lagrangian with respect to x. If we do the partial derivative of the Lagrangian with respect to x, then this x to the power a will have the derivative, and this y to the power b will be treated as constant and it will be taken outside. And if we do the derivative of x to the power a with respect to x, it will be nothing but a into x to the power a minus 1, and in this part lambda into I minus px into x minus py into y, in this part the derivative of this px into x will only occur, but the derivative of I and py into y, this part will not have any derivative because this part doesn't consist x. So basically if we do the derivative of this part with respect to the x, then we are going to get x will have the derivative of 1 and px and lambda will be treated as constant, so we will have lambda px. We will take this as the first order condition equals to 0. In similar way we are going to do the partial derivative of the Lagrangian with respect to y as well, and it will give us b into y to the power b minus 1 into x to the power a minus lambda py equals to 0. And at the last part we are going to do the partial derivative of the Lagrangian with respect to lambda. So basically this is going to give us nothing but this entire part will not be done. I mean this x to the power a into y to the power b, this will not be in the part of derivative. This will not have any derivative. This will be treated as constant, and lambda is not present in these terms, so it will have the derivative of 0. And this part lambda will have the derivative of 1. So the product term of the lambda, that is I minus px into x minus py into y, will be treated as constant and will be taken outside, and that part will remain when we do the derivative of the Lagrangian with respect to lambda. So that will be also set as 0. Now from equation 1, which one is the equation 1? Equation 1 is basically this equation, the first equation. This is our equation 1, this is our equation 2, and this is our equation 3. So from equation 1, if we calculate the value of lambda, at first we will take the lambda into p to the px on the right hand side. So it will be a to the power x, a into x to the power a minus 1 into y to the power b equals to lambda px. Now if we take the px on the left hand side, or if we divide the px on the left hand side, it will be a into x to the power a minus 1 into y to the power b divided by px. In the similar way, if we take the equation 2 and if we find the value of lambda from equation 2, then it will give us the value of b into x to the power a into y to the power b minus 1 divided by py. Okay. Now both of these are the value of lambda, right? Now as both of these are value of lambda, if we compare both of these values, then what will we have? We will have this equation. These are nothing but both of these are the value of the lambdas. So we are just comparing those values. Now a into x to the power a minus 1 can be written as a into x to the power a into x to the power minus 1. And in this part, this y to the power b minus 1 can be written as y to the power b into y to the power minus 1. In this part, x to the power minus 1 can be taken on the denominator portion and can be written as x to the power plus 1. Similarly, y to the power minus 1 can be also taken into the denominator portion and can be written as y to the power plus 1. So by modifying it in this way, we may write it as, or we may find the expression as a into y by px and b into x by py. Now you may do this calculation. This is a very easy calculation. Here this x to the power a will be cut from both the sides and y to the power b will also be cut from both the sides. So these parts will actually not remain after the calculation. So that's why we are only having a into y by px equals to b into x by py. Okay. Now what is the value of y from this equation? It is very easy to calculate the value of y from this equation. So we may obtain the value of y. We are just taking the px on the right hand side and a on the right hand side. Then we may find the value of y from the equation. Now putting the value of y in the budget constant. What was the budget constant? This was the budget constant, px into x plus py into y. This was the value of income or money income. This was our budget constant. If we put the value of y in this equation, then this equation will only have the terms of x, right? If we put this value of y, as you can see, this value of y into this budget constant in the place of y, then this will be our equation. Now if we take the px into x common, both of these terms contain px into x. So if we take px into x common, then we will have 1 in this part and b by a into this part. Okay. And this py and py are actually not present anymore because they are ruled out. So now we will have this equation p of px into x plus 1 into 1 plus b by a. If we take the LCM of a and if we do the addition, then we will get the value of a plus b by a. Now we all know that the condition, initial condition was given that a plus b equals to 1. It was given in the question, right? So if we see this condition was given in the beginning, a plus b equals to 1. So if we put this condition here, then it will be nothing but p of x into 1 by a. So from this equation, if we want to find out the value of x by taking this 1 by a on the left hand side and the px on the left hand side, so the x only will remain on the one side and we will have the value of x. So this is the value of x, a into I divided by px. And if we want to find out the value of y, which was already found, which was already obtained in the earlier portion, let me show you. This was the value of y which we have used, but this value is not free of the x. This value was containing x. So for finding out the indirect utility function, we need the value of x and y which are completely free of x and y, okay, which doesn't contain any x or y and which only contains prices of the commodities, that is px and py. So for finding out that value of y, we don't require this x to be obtained in the equation. So we just will put the value of x which was obtained in the earlier portion, ai by px. We will just put that value here and we will get the value of y which is completely free of any x or y. This value of y doesn't contain any x or y. It is just containing the income. It is containing b, which is a constant, and it is containing p of y, which is the price of commodity y. So if we put the x and y into the utility function, the utility function was nothing but x to the power a into y to the power b. So we are just putting the value of x, which is ai by px, into the place of x, and value of y, which is bi by py, into the place of y. Now if we take I common, then it will be I to the power a plus b. Here I to the power a is here and I to the power b is here. As per the law of indices, if bases are equal, then powers are supposed to be added, and the remaining parts a by px to the power a and a b by py to the power b is there. So now this can be treated, or this can be called as indirect utility function. Why am I calling it indirect utility function? Now utility is a function of the quantities of the commodities that we are consuming. But if we talk about indirect utility function is the function of the prices of the commodities and the income. So as you can see, this utility function which is represented here, this utility function doesn't contain the quantities of the commodities. This utility function contains income, prices of the commodities. Okay, so whenever utility function is represented by the income and the prices of the commodities, then that utility function is nothing but indirect utility function. And whenever utility function is represented by the quantities of the commodities consumed, then it is direct utility function or utility function. So in this way we can convert the utility function into the indirect utility function. What are the procedures? At first we have to draw the Lagrangian function. Then after forming the Lagrangian function, you have to do the partial derivatives with respect to the quantities, that means x and y and the lambda. Then you have to compare the value of lambda. Then you have to find out the value of y, and then you have to put it into the budget constant. You may also find the value of x from the equation also, whatever you want to wish. So basically you have to find the value of y or x from this right. Okay, so you may, from this equation you may find the value of x or y, whatever you wish, and then you have to put that value of x and y into the budget constant, and after putting it into the budget constant you will find the value of x and y, which is completely independent of the quantities of the commodities of consumed. Then after putting the value of x and y into the utility function, you will find the indirect utility function. Thank you for watching.